Young man from Kansas, graduate of Kansas State University. You've seen him before. Watch this shot. Well, it crossed over and left the 10 pin on the left lane of this pair. It's not the way this 31-year-older wanted to start, but let's see what he does in covering the spare. Okay, Nelson Burton Jr., we're underway.
Chris, the 5 players averaged better than 234 for the whole tournament for their appearances on this championship pair, but Handley was the low one. He averaged just 206. The young player coming up right now was the highest with 252 average for 2 games, a 248 and a 256. He's tough.
And the 20-year-older, probably adrenaline pumping just a little bit too much on his first shot. Coming up high, and he left the 6 pin. Here's a profile replay.
Watch how he stays real low. Good straight arm swing, that cupped wrist we see from so many of the young players, and he stays down like almost like Marshall Holman, all the way down low until just the last second. A very nice style.
So we have an even match after a frame. Del Ballard from Richardson, Texas. 3rd year on the tour, yet to win. It is the 2nd career appearance for this young man. His 8th national PBA event. He has 3 regional titles, and the professionals cherish those as well. And there you hear now from the hometown fans, the Texans, who have gathered here to see what Del Ballard can do against some of the finest in the world, including Bob Handley, 8-year member. He has 3 PBA titles. Uses the full approach, right heel off the approach. And again, coming up high, and disaster has hit Bob Handley, the 4-6-7-10.
Handley throws the biggest hook of all these players as he quickly grabs another ball. You see his ball cutting through to leave the what we call big tonk, or 4-6-7-10. He's going to throw hard across lane and just try to bounce one out of the back end.
All right, so it's and bounce he did, but the 6 untouched. He has a nice little attitude, sort of resigned himself to the fact that he left 1.
Handley with that 5-step delivery. Watch the cup wrist, steady head, and then drives down through it with his pivot step, his good slide, and watch how he kicks sideways the foul. And that's strictly momentum as he's coming through the ball. Handley in trouble. He's been a little high on each of the 2 shots as he uses the full approach.
And Bob has been high on every first shot. And Nelson, here he's done it again, the 4-6-7-9. What do you do here?
Here you do the same thing. Just throw over to the group of 3 and hope you can bounce one off the sideboard, hitting a, say, driving the 6 pin over into the 4-7 area. Let's see what happens.
So back-to-back open frames, and the non-winner, Del Ballard, has jumped out to a 27-pin lead. He 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighs 170 pounds. Last year he earned just over $20,000. The 9. He had a strike working for him here in our very first match. The winner of this game will go against Joe Berardi, winner of 3 major championships, and then a winner of 28 titles, Mark Roth. Our tournament leader is the only left-hander in the field, Hugh Miller. Ballard now for the 9. Okay, we're in Grand Prairie, Texas, 12 miles from Dallas, 28 from Fort Worth, 83,000 population, and the lovely lady is the mayor, Ann Gresham.
Chris, the 2 players have to throw the ball a little bit harder. They were zeroed in. They had an hour's practice on this championship pair. As we said, it's been a high-scoring pair all week, but they're a bit tentative. They have to cut it loose, keep the speed up to make the ball hold pocket.
So now, Del Ballard registering what he faces on his face the 7-10.
You see the ball out on about the 3 board as it's coming into the pocket, makes a sharp break, and just drives the 5-pin over into the 7-pin area. The 6-pin lays down the channel. No luck for Del Ballard. Both players in trouble in the early going.
So many things can happen in these professional head-to-head matches. That's why it's such exciting each Saturday afternoon. More action coming up here on ABC. But first, this message. In our first match, Bob Handley is trailing by 14. After back-to-back opens, he's now shooting in the 4th frame. And he gets the first sweeping strike of this match as he goes against non-winner Del Ballard from Richardson, Texas. And with our action line tracer, that graphically shows you the very path that 16-pound bowling ball took in order to hit that 1-3 pocket and have that sweeping strike. Now Handley can cut it to 4 pins if he can strike here in the 5th frame. Bob Handley, Pompano Beach, Florida. Not this time, the 2-4, 8-10. So we've seen almost every split imaginable in as few frames as 4, going into the 5th frame, and that ball that usually hooks up into the pocket just drove right straight on through. And now let's see what Handley will do. Remember, he's had 2 opens already in this game. Third open in 5 frames. It is a tough afternoon for Mr. Bob Handley. So Del Ballard is up next. Nelson Burton Jr. is with Del's dad right now.
Thank you, Chris. Mr. Ballard, I guess you're proud of that young son of yours.
I certainly am, yes.
Well, what did you tell him before he went on the air in the championship round today? What was the last-minute instructions to hopefully he could win today?
To find his line and stay down and go through the ball with his hands.
Well, both players are struggling a little bit, and Del is too. What's he doing wrong out there?
I don't think he's done much wrong yet.
Well, I think if he keeps the speed up, Chris, he'll be very tough for Bob Handley to beat.
Well, it was a disappointing last shot, leaving the 6-7-10. 20-year-older now going for the split. And he has 2 open frames. So, having trouble finding the line that they'd like to have the ball roll to the pocket, Del Ballard and Bob Handley here in the first match are having their problems. The winner will meet Joe Berardi. That's a beautiful comeback by Ballard after those open frames, and that should perk him up, but he still has a 15-pin lead.
You can see the line that Ballard's playing between the 1st and 2nd arrow, swinging the ball out to about the 3rd board, then that very sharp break on the last 15 feet of the lane. That particular hit, he just saws the 5 and the 7. He has a nice lead of 15 pins, 6 frame, Handley up.
How can it happen after what appeared to be an absolutely beautiful shot? 7-10, Bo.
Bob Handley's such a erratic type of player, Chris. As you see another bad break, watch the ball hooking in and then bowling the 5-pin straight back. It actually should take out the 7, but he overpowered it and it slid right behind the 7. He's got to try to make the 7-10. But what happens, Chris, is Bob, when he's hot, and you remember some of the big games, he had a 289 in the Windsor Locks tournament up in Connecticut, and then all of a sudden he lost it and went down to about a 170. With that big hook ball, when he loses control of it, there's almost no way to rectify it or straighten it out.